Ooh, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 99 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. That's all right, guys. We got 99 episodes, and a bitch ain't one.
Yeah.
not a bitch amongst them. Although
3 of them.
I was just gonna rag on him. Maybe we do have a bitch. My bitch brother from the lovely same mother, Lester Jones.
Allegedly.
Allegedly a bitch or allegedly from the same mother.
And we also got the guy that gets all the bitches, the ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder. He respects the power of the majestic ham flour. He knows the appeal of the rusty wagon wheel, the Baron of Browntown, the Duke of Dukieville, the Ayatollah of Asahola, the phenomenal A.J. Singh.
I liked it up until the Baron of, what was it, Brownville?
Not everybody can be an Ayatollah.
Browntown. All right. Well, guys, later in the episode, we'll be reviewing Miss Marvel episode 2, but we'll save that to the end just because we're going to get into spoiler territory. But guys, what else you been doing this week? I just realized we've done enough episodes that if someone wanted to, they could listen to us for like 5 days straight.
Dang, man. That's a lot.
And of course, why wouldn't you really? But what else you guys been doing this week? Anything good?
I'll let Lester go first.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I had a busy week. Got my hair cut. Pulled my calf muscle the other day playing tag with a bunch of little kids. Yeah, that's hollering all around work today. And then I'm not sure, but that job I've been waiting for might be falling through, so we'll see.
Did you lose that game of tag?
Yeah, she got me. And then I quit.
Who are these kids you were playing with?
Yeah, I took the kids to the park, and it was just like
okay.
rando kids.
Gotcha.
What have you guys been watching besides Miss Marvel?
Man, I've just watching a lot of comic book stuff. I think it's mostly the same old stuff. I'll go back and watch King in Black again just because I love that storyline so much. I love how Null goes against the Sentry and goes against Thor, and it's just an interesting story to me.
I read that story.
Yeah, and starting to get into like some of the side stories that were a part of that too. So like there's like tie-ins.
Oh, right.
So I'm looking into that. But yeah, interesting stuff. I watched Miss Marvel again, and we'll talk about it. But I saw a list that said it was a #1 rated Marvel show. Like, I disagree with that. I don't think it is. It shouldn't be.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's only 2 episodes in, but like, yeah, I find that hard to believe that like it would be that. Like ratings where? Like on Rotten Tomatoes or
Yeah, I think it was Rotten Tomatoes.
An aggregate of everywhere.
Yeah, it had like a list of like the top 24 Marvel shows. So it has like the older ones too and stuff like that.
Oh, like the legacy type shows.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, got to like number 3 and 2, and it was like Daredevil and Loki, and I was like, okay, what's about to be #1? And it was the show that just started. I was like, what?
There's some recency bias
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's crazy. What about you?
I've just been picking like random one-offs that are still coming up. I watched an Obi-Wan. I watched The Boys. Just, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been doing that similar thing, kind of watching these week-to-week shows. Strange New Worlds, The Boys, The Orville, Obi-Wan. All pretty good. I noticed there's a lot of sci-fi shows on right now. Like if you like sci-fi and space type shows, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm guessing Amazon will probably just keep hitting that hard as far as like the Star Trek stuff goes.
Well, that's Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay. But we watch it on Amazon.
Right. Speaking of sci-fi, this has been out for a little while, but I finally got around to watching the third and final season of Lost in Space on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched any of that.
I don't think I've seen any of them. Yeah.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's like, family friendly sci-fi, but
I think
I enjoy
I just know that some TV show made fun. I think it was like Family Guy, where they're like, "All right, you, the father and son, go together, and I'll take your teenage daughter by myself to like go look for stuff."
I assume that would be the original like old like 60s show
okay.
that this one's like a remake of. But I've never watched that one. I think it is on like Hulu, like the old ass one, but I've never seen it.
Didn't they make like a shitty movie with Matt LeBlanc?
Yeah, I've never seen that, but it's apparently not good.
I think I did see it, but I don't remember.
I mean, it's got Matt LeBlanc and it's not good. How could that be? Actually, I think it's got Gary Oldman too, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's always pretty renowned.
Last time I saw Gary Oldman in a movie was called Tiptoes.
Oh, you actually saw that? I've never seen it, but I know of it.
It was a very interesting movie. I wouldn't even say it's bad. It was just, okay, that's interesting. All right. I guess maybe it is like, we're not used to seeing little people. And like when you have this whole like soap opera story around them, it's like first you got to like, we're trying to like, okay, now I got to put myself in their shoes and actually like, live that life and know what it's like, So it's like, it kind of takes a moment of adjustment to like be like, okay, well, going from this to that, knowing the difference and adjusting to it,
I'm wondering if I've heard of this movie. Is it black and white?
No, it's not black and white.
I was thinking there was something with people that were like oddities, but it was just supposed to be weird or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
All I know, it's got like Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman, Kate Beckinsale, like a lot of like famous people. But then it's like this weird story about like midgets and like little people, and it's,
and this one, what really weirds me out is this one midget who's like, or a little person who's like really horny. She's like she's just a total, she's out.
Why didn't we pick this to review on the show?
But she's like banging like normal sized people, and I was like, that feels weird to me. And she's also banging other small people, so like she's doing all kinds of things. But she was really aggressive, And it turns out that she's an actual porn star. So I was like, oh, okay, that solves that.
I mean, isn't like Bridget the Midget like a famous?
I think that's who she was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta say that's one lane I've never tried is the midget porn, little person porn.
Yeah, it doesn't really. No. I feel like you'd end up on an FBI watch list.
Probably. Now, what would you do if a little person hit on you?
I'd be nice. I'd be cordial, but I wouldn't like. It sounds mean to say like I'd rule them out immediately, but it'd take a lot for me to be like, we can bridge this gap.
I was gonna say you wouldn't even entertain the idea. Like
how long's it been?
A
little calculation, a little calculus going on.
I wouldn't like. It wouldn't be leading them on, but I'd definitely be aiming towards friends.
Okay. And I was curious. So there's this movie. I have not watched it. It's on Netflix, but I was just curious if you've heard of it. It's called RRR.
I've heard of it.
It's an Indian film.
I just heard of it yesterday.
And apparently, like it's getting like good reviews and like it's like popular in America. Like,
yeah, I don't know anything about what it's about, or I just saw the title yesterday, and somebody was talking about it on like TikTok or something. I don't know, but
yeah, apparently it has like two of the most like famous Indian actors, and like it's really like I'm thinking about watching it, but like it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, every Indian movie's really long like that. Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
man,
because people want their money's worth over there. They're like, if I'm going to watch a movie, it better take half a day.
You know what's crazy though? I heard because I was listening to the reason I heard about this movie is I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it, and they said like, so in America, like on average every year, like we produce like 400 movies thereabouts. In India, they produce like 1,800.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
That's like so many films.
well, there's different industries there too, because like the North Indians have their film industry, which is like Bollywood.
Yeah, and apparently this one is not Bollywood. It's like one of their competitors.
Yeah, and I think I haven't watched a lot of South Indian movies, but from what I've seen, at least like the previews and stuff, they look pretty well made. You know, like they look good to me, and the North Indian movies are more like love stories and dramas and stuff like that mostly. And those action movies too, but the South Indian movies are all kinds of different ranging stuff. I think they kind of have to reach out and try new things because the market is filled by what those North Indian movies are, so they have to like make different stuff. So I think they're working on some interesting ideas there.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about checking it out just from like the buzz it's getting and
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I might check it out too.
But it is a big commitment to watch like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, and is it like subtitled? You're gonna have to read them or something?
I'm actually not sure if it's
Dubbed or subtitled.
well, the so the podcast I was listening to, like they played a clip where it was, English, but I didn't know if that was dubbed or if it was just naturally they had them. Do they make a lot of Indian movies where like they actually have the actors act in English?
Yeah. Like half of the movies, even just the Indian ones, are like in English, because so much of the population speaks English, and they kind of like because a lot. So there's people who live in like the big cities. They speak English and do their jobs in English and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they try to like reach out to everybody.
Well, I might check that movie out. But yeah, besides Miss Marvel, that was it. So do you guys like maybe want to do a round or two of stories, and then we'll get into Miss Marvel?
Sure.
All right, guys. Anyone who hasn't listened, we're going to go around the table. Everybody's going to bring a wacky or interesting news story to the table, and we'll see if we can't make something funny and or entertaining out of it. As tradition dictates, we usually start with AJ. So AJ, what do you got for us?
All right. Man's forearm amputated after botched bicep curl left him with flesh-eating bug. A man was forced to have his forearm amputated after a botched bicep curl left him with a flesh-eating bug. Gabriel McKenna Leishke from Adelaide, Australia, was pumping iron when a 50 kg weight was caused his bicep to tear clean off his elbow, leaving him screaming in pain. God. But things were so much worse. But things were to get so much worse for the civil engineering student. After surgery to reattach his bicep, his arm began swelling up, reaching 3 times its normal thickness. He was rushed back to the hospital. From here, the 29-year-old's decline was dramatic, and before he knew it, he had been placed in an induced coma. Fighting for his life, Gabriel's family were told to prepare for the worst. Thankfully, in November 2020, he came back around from his coma, but when he did, he had to contend with the fact that he had lost his lower left arm due to the deadly flesh-eating bug, necrotizing fasciitis. I'm not sure if that's right. There's a question about where the necrotizing fasciitis actually came from. Gabriel said, nothing's been settled yet, but basically 3 days after the surgery, I was sitting around and my arm had swelled up to 2 or 3 times the thickness and was bright red. I think I acquired the fasciitis in the hospital. My dad was calling my friends and family because they told him they thought I was going to die. It was a big surprise to everyone when I pulled through. He added, when I look back at what I've been through, I feel very proud of myself. I feel extremely grateful for everything. I have another chance at life. Have the support of my family and friends, and that I'm from a country where I'm able to pursue a dream like the Paralympics. Gabriel was in a coma for 10 days, which during that period they amputated a section of his arm and removed dead skin from his chest and arm. When he eventually came around, he said it took him 3 days to realize his arm was gone. He recalled, I was asleep for the whole thing. I had no idea what was going on, and when I woke up, I didn't even realize I'd lost my arm for 3 days. When I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh shit. Unfortunately, I was on so many drugs, it was like it hit me in the face. But at the same time, I wasn't able to comprehend it properly because it was such a haze. Now Gabriel is more determined than ever to get to the peak fitness and enter the Paris Paralympics in 2 years' time, where he hopes to race the cycling team and help with the help of specialist prosthetics, and he has set up a GoFundMe to support his new dream. He said, I'm doing everything on my trainer in my living room. I'm trying to raise this money for the equipment, blah, blah. So, I mean, this guy ripped his his bicep from his elbow doing a curl. Like, this is why I don't work out, guys.
I was going to say the moral of this story is do not work out, do not exercise.
You know, people see me and they think, you might need to hit the gym, but you know what? I'm alive today.
Yeah, and you got both arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should try tag.
See what you get for trying? But man, that is rough. Like, just a normal everyday activity, and you could almost die from it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It just shows how we're just bags of flesh, man.
I know. We're so on the cusp of dying all the time.
Oh, really? A sharp object like flies near us, it could kill us easily.
Right. Yeah. All right. I guess we're ready for Manifesto round 1.
All right. Human trash discovered on Mars.
I saw this headline. I didn't read it though.
What? Is it called a rover?
I was gonna say, yeah, that's all that's been up
No,
there.
apparently, like when the craft descended, like it lost something, but I don't know. It says they're like a couple kilometers from the crash site, and then like they just accidentally found this piece of junk that had blown off, but. It's so weird that just like you can't go anywhere without finding trash. It's just like it's everywhere.
Yeah, we've left our footprint, like, not even on this planet alone.
We should just put trash on every planet to claim it for ourselves.
I wonder how many planets we have like crashed something into. Probably more than one.
Yeah, I mean, we've sent a lot of stuff in this. We got like a bunch of garbage floating around us.
Yeah, some of it floating very fast.
Yeah. Like, aren't they afraid, like, in the future, if we keep putting stuff up there, like, it'll get to the point where everything gets, like, blown up and, like, runs into each other and falls to the earth and causes problems?
I mean, I'm sure there are collisions. There's stuff that falls to earth all the time, yeah.
We're creating a new ozone layer of pure garbage.
That sun's not going to get out.
we got to find a way to reflect some of that sunlight back out. Trash, who knew?
It's our greatest export.
I mean, that's kind of what sets that Gravity movie off, right? Is like they get hit by a bunch of like space trash and it like
it tears apart their ship
or whatever they're on. Yeah,
They were like almost like bullets, right?
right.
Yeah. Like, oh no, space trash.
Our biggest enemy.
How'd she die? Core of an apple hit her right in the throat. That's what kind of trash I'm imagining in space. Like just regular everyday trash.
Let's see. Anything more on that one?
No, not really.
Well, this headline I found is a couple years old, but I found it interesting. Woman's boss thinks tampons are sex toys and periods can be turned off. A woman set Tumblr alight this week with a story about her boss, a middle-aged politician with some serious misconceptions about menstruation. In her post, a 20-year-old explained how her boss used to whine about tampon machines in women's toilets and how she found it strange that he believed them to be not necessary. Then one day she asked him if she could go to the bathroom. When he asked why, she explained that she was on her period, which made the guy see red, pun intended. She said he started ranting about how lazy women were, how we wasted time, how we were so careless and unhygienic, and that there was no call for that. He finished by telling me that I certainly was not going to the ladies' room and that I was going to sit there and work. He finished us off with a decisive nod, as if I'd just been told and there could be no possible argument. Apparently he didn't get that her trip was urgent, and when she explained the situation, he responded with, "Wait, you mean that if you don't go, you'll just keep bleeding? I thought that women could turn it off anytime they wanted." If that wasn't bizarre enough, the guy thought tampons were sex toys. She added, he actually thought, A, that women could shut down the menstrual cycle at will, B, that we essentially picked a week per month to spend more time in the bathroom to goof off, and C, that napkins and tampons...
It's the greatest conspiracy of all time.
They've been doing it for thousands of years.
This is like some QAnon shit.
It's all a secret.
And C, that napkins and tampons were sex toys. Although it's impossible to verify tales on Tumblr, a 2010 study by the Journal of Family Issues shows the surprising lack of education for boys on periods, despite them affecting half of the population. But really, I think this guy is on to something. I mean, what are tampons if not mini dildos?
little cotton fabric dildos.
Right.
Women are just poor engineers. They can't design it. We have to make the dildos for them.
He's like one of these people where the parents just raised him wrong to see like what kind of fucked up person they could bring into the world.
Yeah, this is next level, man. This guy's like, he's like the poster child of like ignorance.
This guy's definitely a Republican politician.
Definitely upper management material.
Right, definitely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he told her no to that she not go to the restroom, I thought was pretty bold, man. Like,
I know she should have just been like, man, I got to go take a real shit.
yeah, I would have just said that.
He's like, I heard women can turn that off. You know what it kind of reminds me of, though, of, remember that politician that got in trouble years ago because they like asked him about like, I think like abortion, and they're like, well, what about in the case of rape? And he's like, well, in the case of rape, I think women can just shut that whole thing down.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what?
That's where the interviewer just they can't ask another question.
We're gonna have to drill on this subject here. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, you talk to somebody long enough and you'll pull out some piece of information where you realize they're an idiot. And that's the case there.
That's a tough one. Like, you just shouldn't be on TV. Like, you should know sometimes. It's like, I'm just gonna not do this one.
like, what's shocking to me is
It's
like,
not my area of expertise.
how can you form such strong opinions and not know anything about a subject? That's wild.
Yeah, it's possible.
Man, if somebody teaches me something new or tells me something I don't know, I'll just be like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and maybe I'll like go check it out online later or something.
Yeah.
But man, to be so bold.
He's like, wait, so you're telling me?
He's like, well, walk me through this now. Hold on, hold my hand.
Yeah, talk to me like I'm an idiot.
Man, there's so many crazily stupid politicians.
I mean, in a modern age where we have access
That's
to
because
information.
they're confident.
Yeah.
Confidently stupid, yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
sad.
what it takes. You have to have raw confidence.
It's sad. You have to have confidence in the first place just to like make it in this world, and then like you don't even need to necessarily have anything to back that confidence up. You just got to fake it till you make it. You know.
I mean, yeah, that's what Trump did.
Yeah.
Trump doubles down.
Yeah.
Doubles down, triples down.
He's like, I'm a genius. What are you talking about? I'm not crazy. I'm a stable genius.
Man, I haven't watched any of these like, January 6th hearings, but apparently like everybody else is like the news of, I guess, it got like huge ratings showing like this like new footage and stuff.
I don't know. I'm almost completely disinterested.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm like numb from it all. Like, who cares?
Same. It's like I'm like, I know what happened, and like watching more footage about it's not gonna like make me like
Yeah.
give me some big revelation. Like I know these assholes are in the wrong. Like I don't know. Like what's it supposed to prove?
And I don't think there's gonna be any punishment, any serious punishment for this. Like, I think it's just a big show for nothing.
It's another one of those things that like a lot of liberals are hanging their hat on it. Like, oh, this is gonna be the one against Trump. This is gonna be the one. It's like,
finally.
Well, midterms are coming too. You need some kind of a positive something to hang your head on.
I mean, everybody's predicting, and the polls are showing that the Democrats are probably not going to do
Yeah,
well.
I mean, with inflation and gas, everyone's just going to take a huge shit on them. I mean, you can already expect to lose House and Senate seats in the midterms. It virtually always happens.
You know what, though? I saw, I don't know about all prices, but the gas prices are not caused by inflation. Like they showed like the I saw this graph today where it was like one line showed like the cost of oil per barrel and then the cost charged at the pump. And like even when it was going down, like at the pump it stayed the same. So like they're just the oil companies are like, oh, people think there's inflation going on, so we'll just gouge them and they won't know better.
Well, inflation still affects everything, but yeah, that's a little more complicated market. But they're also dealing with issues where we seems like we're kind of stopped or we're slowing down drilling in the U.S. I don't know.
I mean, we need to switch to electric.
I mean, you can't even in Elon Musk, who loves like solar, is like you can't do this
Right.
overnight.
You can't do it overnight, but I think we need to ramp it up a little more.
I mean, I don't know. What's the deal with electric cars these days? I know Teslas are quality, right? But outside of that, are people buying a lot of different electric cars? Like these Chevys? And
I've seen some.
I mean, I think it's becoming more and more common as they produce more and more of them. But
Yeah, I just don't know like what the mile to gallon is for, or what the mileage is for a charged battery compared to a Tesla. Because I know Tesla's like supposed to be anyway, like the leader in the, in that. So
I don't know if there's enough of them on the market that the prices come down enough to get people to buy them.
well, I
more
know
and more.
Tesla's got like a 1 year like waiting list at this point, but
Yeah,
other
I've heard
brands
that
I'm
too.
not sure about. But I don't know if they're even producing at like a high enough clip to like sell enough of them. Like
Yeah, that's a good problem to have, I guess.
yeah, but not for us. We're stuck paying for gas, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not in any position to buy a $50,000 car.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like Teslas are expensive, but like the other ones, they're supposed to be cheaper. Like
Maybe, I don't know. I've never priced any of them.
yeah,
But I mean, ultimately, you plug them all to the wall, and most of that electricity comes from oil and gas. So.
Man, once I Ubered in a Chevy Volt, and I can't really tell you how quality the car is, but I can tell you the quality of the back seat is not good. My head was against the ceiling, like it's for like fucking midgets or short people or something.
Yeah, you should have gotten the passenger seat.
Well, I had no idea. I just got in there and I'm like, holy shit, this roof is low.
It was a 4-door.
Yeah,
you're like in fetal position.
yeah, yeah. It was cramped quarters. I think AJ. I think we're back around to you.
All right, that's what we got here. All right, we talked about the woman selling her boob sweat.
Oh yeah.
She sold her farts first. All right, here we go.
See what fluid comes out next week.
Separate identical twins raised in the U.S. and Korea have massive IQ difference. A study of a pair of twins who were raised separately across the world from each other has revealed location can have a significant impact on intelligence. The twin girls born in Seoul, South Korea in 1974 became separated at the age of 2 when one of them got lost at a market. Despite her parents' appeal to find their missing daughter, she was not reunited with her family and was eventually adopted by a couple from the U.S. Growing up on American soil, the twin was completely unaware she had any siblings at all until 2018 when she...
What kind of shenanigans have to go on? They lost one while they were in Korea, and somehow she ended up in the U.S.?
Well, she was lost at the market in Korea, and then I don't know who ended up with her, but eventually she was adopted by a U.S.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Something shady.
Yeah, some bad police work there, I feel like, or something, because losing a kid at a store and then it being adopted in another country.
It's possible she was abducted by some like black market like
Oh, yeah.
thing too.
Yeah,
you
then
never
there's-
know. You never know.
I mean, it's pretty weird to explain it any other way.
Because I mean, you would think if you lost a child, you would check all the local like
Yeah.
child protective services and things like that, police and stuff.
In 2020, she discovered she not only had a twin, but also an older brother and sister. When the twins were finally reunited, they completed a series of tests designed to assess their intelligence, mental health, and medical history, resulting in a groundbreaking study of separate identical twins. Incredibly, the Korean-raised twin had a significant higher IQ, coming in at a whopping 16 points over her sister. The findings of the study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences have contradicted previous research on identical twins, which indicated a difference of no greater than 7 IQ points between twins. While researchers were not able to conclude what the IQ difference was directly related to their difference in geographical location, the twins did have very different upbringings that could have contributed. The sister who grew up in the United States suffered 3 concussions throughout her life, which can significantly impact cognitive capacity. The twin raised in Korea grew up in a happy, harmonious home, whereas the U.S.-based twin had a more turbulent childhood. She lost her father, found a new one, and conflict in her new home resulted in the eventual divorce of her adoptive parents. They had strikingly similar personality traits. Despite these differences, the pair had identical scores for self-esteem and mental profiles. Researchers found that the overall configuration of the twins' personality was similar, consistent with literature on moderate genetic influences on personality in adulthood. Notable is that both twins are distinctively high on conscientiousness, indicating that both are purposeful, well-organized, dutiful, and achievement striving. This shows that despite the difference in their upbringings, the two sisters had similar personalities, values, and approaches to life, highlighting that genetics could have a significant impact on personality. So to the eternal question, is it nature versus nurture, or is the jury still out? It's too hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a fair number of differences there.
Yeah.
I knew the American was going to be the dumber one.
I mean, all the family problems and everything just seems like normal to America. In Korea, they seem like they'd be more, in Asia, people are more family-oriented and stuff.
I mean, being completely displaced when you're 2 years old is a pretty traumatic event.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're 2, you don't know what's happening. You might not even, it might not even be a blip in your life.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's crazy, man. It also makes me think, man, I kind of wish I had stayed in India. Yeah. I might be a little smarter there.
Do you want to do another manifesto, or do you want to get into Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I got a short one.
Okay.
New Hampshire Distillery turns invasive crabs into whiskey.
What?
Crabs into whiskey.
So basically, they still are making like a mash, I think, out of it said corn or something, which I don't know if whiskey's made out of corn. But, so this invasive small green crabs, they're taking them and smashing them up and adding them as an ingredient, and they're saying it's like a briny fireball. It's like, that sounds awful.
I know. Like alcohol's not bad enough. You got to add some crab.
I hate seafood in the first place. We're talking about oh gosh, that's a salty ocean flavored alcohol.
So after you drink it and you're all burping and trying not to puke, there's all this crab, ode to crab in there.
And alcohol already sucks, man. You know why you drink alcohol. It's not for the taste.
You know what we should do? We should make a whiskey company where we just have that base whiskey, and then we just go around taking every invasive species. Be like, we'll get rid of those for you and make a gimmick whiskey out of it.
We need to team up with that boob sweat lady and start, lacing the whiskey with that
boob
stuff.
sweat whiskey. Yeah. Guys would totally take that.
Yeah, perverted guys would, yeah.
All guys.
That's mostly all guys.
Has a briny taste.
Yeah, that's true. It'll add more to that watery, salty flavor.
Crab whiskey. That sounds good. It really hits the spot.
Johnny's Cum Blast Bourbon.
Man, we do terrible things to animals, man. Making whiskey out of them.
It's they're invasive. We'll just smash them up and stick them in the whiskey.
Yeah.
Genius.
All right. Are you guys ready to get your Miss Marvel on? I don't know if that sounds.
It stinks.
All right, guys. Really, no preamble this week. We're going to go straight into spoilers. So if you have not watched episode 2 of Miss Marvel on Disney Plus, and how could you not?
Monsters.
Monsters. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Going to do a plot breakdown and then kind of give our thoughts as we go along. And I was smart this week. I took extensive notes for us.
Oh, that sounds painful.
All right, we start. Miss Marvel is confident now after getting her power. She's walking through her halls at school. She's correcting the teacher on how her name is pronounced. She's like
High five.
yeah, high fiving. She runs into this new kid named. We find out his name's Kamran, and like, I think that's how they pronounce it. And in the halls, and like we can tell, like she thinks he's cute or whatever. But he'll play a big role in this episode. Anyway, we find out that Zoe from episode 1, like the popular girl, like.
Oh yeah, she's stealing the glory.
Right, she's kind of stealing the glory. Her likes on social media are going up. She's even more popular because of her run-in with the.
I didn't feel like she was stealing glory. I thought she was giving props to the hero and then just also, banking off of it, like, oh, I was the victim and she saved me. But I didn't feel like she was stealing credit or anything.
Okay, but yeah, but she was using it to her advantage, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And Zoe, like, named her Nightlight
Yeah.
as a hero name. Anyway, Zoe's having a big party at her house on Friday. I feel like this is a big trope of all these teen movies. There's got to be a house party somewhere.
Yeah.
So Zoe invites Kamran, and then like Kamala gets like a big boner for him, and she's like, "Oh, we got to go to this party now."
Yeah, that seemed kind of forced. Like, all of a sudden she's going to this girl's party because that one guy's there. Like,
she's all hot for him, and like he's surrounded by fire and 100 keep it 100 things because that's how her mind works. So then Kamala and Bruno go to the upstairs of her house, and they kind of play around with the powers and the bangle thing. Now, she kind of, in the comics, like I was saying last week, she kind of has those Reed Richards powers, where she can, like, stretch and, like, make her hand all big. So she kind of does that here. She uses the bangle, makes, like, a big fist out of it, and it just kind of, like, falls over because she can't, like, I think Bruno mentions, you don't have super strength, apparently.
Yeah.
yeah, he says that the bangle activated something in her, so I guess now the powers are emanating from her rather than the bangle.
Yeah, and I wrote that down a little later. Yeah.
The powers are hers. The bangle just
brings them out
or something.
So now she just tossed that bangle, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed like kind of a stupid thing. And also, like, okay, so he's, like, on his iPad there, and he's, like, monitoring her, and that's when he says it. Like, what kind of test is he doing on his fucking iPad that he's like, I can tell there's with the energy and blah, blah. It's, like, so nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like...
He's like NASA as a person or something.
Yeah.
I do love when you just, like, you have a prop, and it's just complete nonsense.
It is. It's complete bullshit. They're like, we'll have him say this, and he's a genius, and you buy it. She says that it's like an idea. He asks, like, what's it like? And she says it's like an idea coming to life. And then even a little bit later, like, they call it, like, hard light or whatever. So they really are kind of ripping off Green Lantern with this power set.
Yeah, I still get a Green Lantern vibe.
Yeah. There's, like, a little training montage with her, like, running and doing push-ups. And we see, like, she's trying to make small platforms using the bangle that she can, like, run up on, and, like,
yeah, I was like, here we go, another training montage,
right? And then a few of them fail, and then eventually she gets good at it, and
obligatory training montage.
You need that. They mentioned that the writing on the bangle looks Arabic. So next, her and Nakia go to church. We see that, like, in their religion, kind of the men get special treatment. Like, they're in the front part of the church that's supposedly all nice, and they're in the back half behind a partition, and it's shittier and the acoustics aren't good or something. And they have this whole thing where they're like, oh, we're gonna have a mosque board,
Like a mosque president, kind of.
something like that.
Yeah.
And like people can run for it or something. And she's like, I'm gonna maybe I'll run for that. I mean, I don't. Is this a thing that mosques have?
She seems so young to run for that position. You would think it'd be like an older council of people.
I would think so too. And like, and also like, let's be honest, because she is a woman, like, I doubt she would even have a chance. I guess they haven't got that far. Maybe she does lose like really poorly. If she wins this though, I'm going to be like, this seems unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to put in some legwork to like win that kind of race if you're the huge underdog in that sense.
It also felt like they were just randomly going, almost like it's something they do once a year.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something they do supposedly do every week or.
I don't care about her side plot right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I suppose they want to show off the culture, but at the same time, it's not very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in trouble for like talking, and I don't even remember.
And then they started talking again. I was like, "You're gonna get yelled at again. Shut up."
Yeah, you just got dressed down. They're like, yeah, we'll talk a little quieter.
Right.
So like before they went into church, they have to take their shoes off, so they put them in these cubby holes. And when they come back, Nakia's shoes are stolen. And she mentions that like there's a shoe thief on the loose, and they've stolen like 30 pairs of shoes. So I imagine one of these episodes is going to have her catch the shoe thief.
Well, it was. I mean, part of me was like, this chick is retarded because she's like, oh, I lost my, I don't know, high brand shoe. Was his.
Yeah, she mentioned like
Whatever it is.
Louis
And she's like, this has
Vuitton,
happened like 100
Versace.
times. I'm like, maybe you should stop wearing Louis Vuittons to the fucking mosque or something.
Well, I don't think it happened to her. It happened to other people. But at the same time, if she knows it's happening, yeah, why would she bring like her expensive shoes?
Right.
Or or it seems like they would have done something before it got that many pairs stolen. Like maybe we'll put a security camera here or something, or have somebody watch these or something. So yeah, that was kind of stupid. I wrote down she goes to the party with an Elmer Fudd hat for some reason.
That's all I remember.
She was wearing the Elmer Fudd hat with like the flaps on the side and like the flannel type of look. I was like, what the fuck?
Style.
I was thinking those Canadian hats, kind of, or the same thing, right?
Right. Kamran does like this big like fancy dive into the pool, and he gets out, and once again, just lady boners all over the place. They're really all over this Kamran, guys.
I really like the way you say lady boners.
The cops show up, and then Bruno's like, I got a car, everybody with me. So in the car, like him and Kamal are in the front seat, and they're kind of like flirting back and forth about movies, and we can tell that Bruno's all jealous.
Yep. The classic love triangle.
The old love triangle.
And he's obviously like super beta, and they're almost certainly going to get together later on.
Next, she's at school, and her powers start to go kind of crazy. Like her nose lights up, and like at least nobody notices. Like she goes to the bathroom stall, and like her hand like gets shiny too. And then like her friend comes in there and hands her a mini dildo tampon, and she's like, "No, that's not it," or whatever. They have some conversation that I don't really remember the details of. Like, her friend was like, did her friend convert to like Islam?
No, it's just that she says she looks white, so she gets like kind of both sides kind of like treat her like an outsider. Like in America, she's treated an outsider.
Oh, okay.
And then like in her own community, she's treated as an outsider. So she says she wears the hijab to like at least give herself some identity.
Oh, okay. Well, that clears that up. I was wondering about that. I wasn't, I guess, paying enough attention. Bruno goes into the office of like the principal. He's got like a free scholarship to Caltech, but he's like debating of because he'd have to go to California, and he's in love with Kamala,
And there's a bunch of Californians over there.
yeah, more drama. Oh, I forget to set this up. Earlier, like before when they were in the car, like Bruno, like trying to like get in between them, mentioned that Kamala failed her driving test. But then like Kamran was like, well, I can give you some driving lessons, you know. So that's what happens. They go on a driving lesson, and he lets her drive. So they end up going to this restaurant, and then like conveniently, like her brother and his brother's fiance like show up.
Yeah.
And I guess this scene was kind of funny, but at the same time kind of stupid, where basically like you can tell they like each other, but they're trying to hide it from her brother. So she says that, oh, this is our cousin such and such, but like he has a British accent, so her brother's like, wait, isn't who you said you're the son of or whatever, like Pakistani? Why do you speak with an accent? And like the best thing he could come up with was like he was faking the British accent.
Yeah, that was. Who's gonna buy that?
Couldn't he just say, "Oh yeah, he hooked up with a British chick or something"? My mom's British. I don't know.
But that was a little foreshadowing too when she says,
Yeah, that's true. So now Kamala's back at home. She's having dinner with her parents, her brother, and her brother's fiance. And the dad tells this story about how, like, back in the day, like, I guess when the Civil War started in the partitioning between India and Pakistan, like, her grandmother was a child, and, like, they got separated, but her grandmother ended up somehow, getting on the train, and she mentioned something about, like, following the light or something. And like they also asked about so her grandmother's name is Sana, and then her great grandmother's name is Aisha. And they mentioned that like Aisha like somehow mysteriously disappeared that night. So like, do you guys feel like the implication is that Aisha somehow used the powers of the bangle to guide Sana onto the train?
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it, but I wasn't completely sure if that's what we were supposed to get out of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to get out of that.
Okay, so then Kamala at the table here, she like touches the bangle, and she has like this vision of a woman who I'm assuming that is Aisha. Mm-hmm. Is that what you thought?
That's what I think. Yeah.
And she like blacks out, and her parents and everybody like revive her. So then Kamala's in her room. She FaceTimes with her grandmother Sana, and starts asking her about the bangle. And that's when Sana explains that the bangle belonged to her mother, Aisha, who disappeared or whatever. So now they're going to what they call the Eid celebration. EID, I think.
Eid.
Eid. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, is this like big celebration in their religion, I guess. We get this thing where Nakia is trying to get her votes for the mosque board or whatever. Like she's putting up her flyers and whatnot. And like basically her, Bruno, and Kamala are going to separate and kind of go to all these different groups of people that they explain and try to get votes. She has a scene where she kind of tries to guilt Kamala's dad into voting for her.
Yeah. Like Could have just left the poor guy alone. I kind of felt like he's like, my friend's running. I kind of have to vote for him. And she's like, well, I don't know, like who you like more or something. I don't know. It was some awkward scene.
So next, we find out that basically the cops that showed up at the party were actually like the Department of Damage Control and those agents who were at the basically after credit scene of the first episode. And so they got Zoe now in an interrogation room. And like they kind of start asking her about like the ethnicity of like the woman that saved her, you know? And like they start mentioning different ones. And then like the woman mentions like Southeast Asian, and like because she has like that look or something, she's like, "Oh, that's it." So then they're like, "Okay, so I want you to start canvassing every like mosque and whatever." And I'm like, that seems a little bit like
Yeah, that's a reach.
yes. Yeah.
And like also, look, I don't think white people know the difference between what a Southeast Asian person looks like, a Latino person, and a Middle Eastern person. Like those are hard for white people to like suss out.
I know, and plus like the superhero things have been.
You think they should just been, let's go for round up the brownies.
Round up all the brown people.
Well, and plus, like the whole
Puerto Ricans, damn it.
the whole conceit of like superhero shit is like, you're wearing a mask, even if it's a half mask or a domino mask, like it's hiding your identity. So like, we're supposed to believe Zoe like by seeing like, you know, Kamala's like mouth or whatever, knows that she's Southeast Asian.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean,
I'm Indian. I've been fooled by different people looking a certain way too. You know, like I don't know how they're gonna go by this account of this girl.
yeah, this whole scene was just like you said, a huge reach.
Yeah,
So like, there's this group of older like Indian women at the Eid that they refer to as the Illuminantes.
Oh yeah.
And Kamala's talking to them, trying to get more information about Aisha. And they're saying, like, Aisha brought a bunch of shame to the family. And that one of them's like, we heard she killed a man or something. Now, this is what baffles me, because, like, the one story about the train station is that she disappeared that night or whatever. So I don't understand how, like, she disappeared, but at the same time, like, she brought shame to their family and all this. Like, did you understand it?
Yeah, they also said that she hooked up with a bunch of guys, but like, how are they making this backstory if they don't know where she was and anything about where she, what happened to her?
I was really confused. I was like, this seems to conflict. Like, is she this mysterious woman that disappeared, or is she like this woman that like killed a guy and brought a bunch of shame to the family? Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, they did not explain this well.
And if it happened during partition, you would think it was because of, violence. Like, there was violence on both sides. So she was probably defending herself. Like, you don't necessarily think, like, she just murdered a guy during partition because she felt like it or something.
Right. So, you don't think, like... So, it seems like... Do you think Sana, like her grandmother, like knows about the powers of the bangle? It seems like the conversation on the phone, like maybe she did, but didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it sounded like she was hiding something.
So then there's this like little kid that goes up to the top of a tower, and like he's taking selfies, like leaning out of the tower, and then he of course like starts to fall out the window and like grabs onto a curtain that's like starting to pull itself off. So he starts screaming, and like everyone gathers around, they're all worried, and so like Kamala's like, okay, this is her time to be a superhero. So she gets in the costume, she goes up there, she like starts talking to the kid and like trying to calm him down, and he says you like ice cream pizza or whatever. So like he's almost like falling out, which like gets her to like, make the platforms and jog over to him and like kind of like save him, and he falls on the platform.
Yeah.
But then like at that time, so like everyone's cheering and like taking videos of her, which like goes viral or whatever. But then she has another vision. Again, we assume of Aisha, which causes her to like drop the kid, and like she really quickly like throws some platforms down. But it seems like that kid maybe got fucked up a little bit.
Yeah, it was slightly botched. Which I mean is good. It kind of breaks the like, superheroes don't usually have fuck ups.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, he didn't drop like 60 feet like he was gonna.
That's true. That's true.
He took a couple lumps, but probably is okay.
Yeah.
Now we've mentioned like a few things were a reach. This part was like such a reach. So she like goes down to like the alleyway, I guess, behind where this all happened, and she's immediately like these drones start following her, right? And like I think she takes one of them out, and the other one's chasing her, and she comes out, and like those agents from the DODC are there. And I'm like, how are these fuckers so Johnny on the spot? Like, this video just went viral, and like minutes later, they're already on her.
Yeah, is there like one mosque in all of New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like, canvass all the mosques, there's like, oh, there's only one. And they're having this big festival. This is definitely it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were pretty spot on.
I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, and then the next thing you're about to talk about, that was even more.
Oh yeah, this is even more convenient. So it's like she jumps over like the cop car or whatever, and conveniently, Kamran pulls up in his car, and he's like, "Get in!" And so like, not only is it convenient that he's right there, but then like also like they just easily get away.
Yeah.
Like no pursuit or anything from the cops. Okay, so this is the question I have. So there's a older like woman in the backseat, and Kamran's like, "This is my mom." Now, are we supposed to believe that that's Aisha?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well that gives me even more questions because number one, Aisha is her great grandmother, so she would have to be like old as shit.
Yeah.
Like if she's alive, she's like Methuselah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the other thing is number two, if this is Kamran's mom, how old was she when she had him?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
And he has been openly flirting with Kamala. If that's his mom, they're related.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This brought up so many questions.
Well, I don't know if this is like part of the show or not, but I know in Islam you can marry your cousin. So I don't know if they're going like that route here.
It's all good. It's all good.
I feel like they're the evil element, like trying to collect her.
Yeah, they should. The grandmother definitely has like this look that makes her seem evil.
So I don't know, something.
The great-grandmother.
something weird. Because they haven't really introduced any other huge nemesis.
I mean, I do feel like Kamran's gonna have powers and some sort of super identity. I don't get the sense that he's gonna be a villain though. I'm not, but I'm not sure about Aisha.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, that reveal, I was like, it just puzzled me because, like, first I'm like, okay, are we to believe she's Aisha? So, like, do you think the bangle like makes her age slower?
Yeah, maybe like once her powers activated, she ages slower. I don't know.
Because I mean, when she was talking on the phone to just her grandma looked even older than that woman,
Yeah.
right?
Her mom looks about the older than her great grandmother a little bit.
It's just, I don't know. There was a lot of confusing and convenient things in this episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did not love it.
Still in contention with Hawkeye.
Yeah, it is. Watching this show made me feel like a 13-year-old girl. This is how I felt when I watched Twilight in the theater with my sister at one time. It's meant for a younger audience.
Which is why a bunch of middle-aged men are reviewing it for your pleasure.
One unwillingly.
But I mean, like some of the other Marvel stuff, like
Doesn't suck.
Well, not only doesn't it suck, but I feel like goes on that line better about like being kid friendly, but like fine for adults.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, yeah, so far, like it's totally watchable, but like I feel like it doesn't work very well for adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think kids with their whole life ahead of them, yeah, they're into it, sure. But adults were like, yeah, we don't have that wide-eyed, bright, hopeful, kind of a look at this whole thing.
With Hawkeye, like, except for before the final episode, I was like, this isn't great, but it's not like terrible. And then I just really hated that final episode.
Yeah.
With this, it's like so far, it's just off to such a bleh start. Like, I don't think it's offensively bad, but it's not like compelling either.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's more of like a introduction to like her culture than it is about the show, like, being about like, other things. Like, I get that, like, Pakistani culture is like a big part of the show and everything, but I'm not really interested in the board, election and this stuff. I think they could go away from that a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing to concentrate on.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get like that's the thing that makes her distinct, so they want to kind of have that, but like just her interactions with like her family is more entertaining than like that scene.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they actually fill this out with like a good villain and like interesting kind of hero versus villain. That whole storyline. I hope they flesh it out well enough.
I know at 6 episodes, like, are they gonna be able to like give us a villain and make it like any like satisfying at all? Maybe just the shoe thief is the
villain. We did that story on that like Indonesian guy who was stealing flip flops from everybody and jerking off to him.
Oh yeah, didn't he have like thousands of pairs?
Yeah.
It's like I've been compulsively stealing flip flops for ages.
I got Birkenstocks. I got this.
I got Versace. I got this.
Like a class action lawsuit where he owes everybody in the country like 32 cents.
Well, I don't want the sandals back, so I'll take the 32 cents. So what would you guys give this episode out of 10?
Oh man.
I gave the last one a 6. I think this one I would go down to like a 5.5.
Yeah, I was thinking like 4 to 5. It ended at least with something like her, great grandmother coming back and some sort of, enticing. Maybe there's gonna be something good that comes out of this. So
yeah, if she would have fucked her cousin, I would have brought it up to 7.
She wanted to.
I'm down there. I'm way down there.
To the depths.
Yeah, I'm like a 2 and just I'm bored.
Yeah, it's. I guess all we can hope for is that it picks up. So guys, next week, episode 100. I wish we had something more special plan than just episode 3 of this show. But we'll think about it. Maybe we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's exciting that we stuck with this. We're like, I guess, close to our 2-year anniversary. And 100 episodes. That's something, man. Especially since we've mentioned that statistically most podcasts only make it to episode 8. I mean, we're killing the game.
That's right. We should have quit a long time ago, but we don't know any better.
We're going to make you hate Miss Marvel, even if you love it. No. It'll pick up. I'm confident.
Maybe I need to like write out some mean things just so I'm prepared to review the show.
To roast it?
Yeah. Actually, that would make it more entertaining. Yeah, give us some one-liners.
Yeah.
I was just feeling like kind of demoralized.
The show did that to you?
Well,
It broke your spirit.
I was watching something and then Zach's like, oh yeah, you got to watch Miss Marvel. I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here for an hour and watch this now. because I have to.
I have to admit, like this today, watching that show, it was kind of like I had to force feed myself the show. Like around 2:00, I was like, all right, I gotta watch this for the podcast. So I'm hoping it gets better, man. I mean, Marvel's track record, usually it does get better, so I'm counting on it.
I'm guessing the third one will be better than the first two.
Yeah, it's got.
However, I still might not like it.
Maybe we should switch over to reviewing The Boys. Man, speaking of which, like,
The Boys is fire.
Yeah.
they are like they've made Homelander like one of the like biggest villains of TV history. Like I saw someone tweet something about like he's at like King Joffrey levels of like people wanting him dead.
People did hate Joffrey.
But there really are people like this that exist. Like, you know, you give them all the power in the world. You know, nothing's there to stop them. There's no reason for them not to do whatever they want. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like that he's believable in that sense.
And they've already announced their season 4 of The Boys, so they're gonna keep going.
I'm not sure he's going to survive much longer.
Homelander.
Yeah.
I was wondering that too. Like, well, also like you got to think like that whole stunt with him beating up the chef probably made them nervous.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder if they're like, maybe we should kill this guy in season 3 and then pick somebody else going forward.
He might get one more season, but they've been scheming against him for a while.
But yeah, like after he dies, like, is there much more point of the show going much longer?
Well, he might be defeated by somebody who's just as bad as he is.
Oh, Soldier Boy?
Possibly.
I haven't seen the newest episode that just dropped today.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I thought Black Noir was like a real piece of work.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit, but you don't really know much about him. Other than, like, you know, he's like shitty Batman, I guess. I don't know. He is the darkness.
Well, what's weird is like, and I guess this is like a brief spoiler for like one of the prior Boys episodes this season, but like we see him when he's younger, and we see like he gets kind of blown up and fucked up, but like he seemed like kind of a normal guy before that happened to him. But then, like, he's been portrayed as, like, a real kind of weirdo, like, in the show, right?
Black Noir?
Yeah. Like, remember, I think season 1, like, he's, like, playing piano and shit. And, like, he does all this other kind of, like, weird shit.
Definitely idiosyncratic.
Right. So, I'm definitely interested. They could actually transition to make him, like, the big bad, I guess. But he doesn't speak, so he's not going to be as compelling as Homelander.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, who knows? Maybe Stormfront comes back.
Yeah, we're still wondering about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that as well. So we just stopped talking about Ms. Marvel and talking about the show we like better. But no, I am interested to see where Ms. Marvel goes still. All right. Well, if you're interested to see where Ms. Marvel goes and where our opinion of her goes, tune in next week to episode 100. And also, make sure to subscribe both to the YouTube channel and to your podcast service of choice. Give us comments, likes, positive reviews, all that good stuff. And please come over and follow us on Twitter. Guys, where can people find you on Twitter?
A name for this too, and that's number 2.
At Unsolicited, SUG.
And you can, of course, find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. And that is going to do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week to episode 100. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one.